Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. This week, we're going to Indonesia. Our reporter, Arnaud Guiguiton.
Hello.
Hello to you, sir. Has just got back from there. He's got a report from Bangka Island, where the mining of tin, just off Sumatra, is causing massive damage to the area, to the people, to the whole environment there. And Arnaud, I'm wondering, sort of, why is this being mined so intensively, tin, at this particular place?
The first tin deposits were discovered 3 centuries ago by Chinese immigrants. Then Dutch colonists began organising its extraction. But the real tin rush began in the 2000s when mobile phones became widespread. The demand from manufacturers like Apple, Samsung and Nokia multiplied. In a smartphone, there's 1 to 3 grams of tin, which doesn't seem like a lot. But in 2018, 1.4 billion phones were sold worldwide. You can do the maths, Mark. The demand for tin is enormous.
Some people might be watching this report coming up next using their smartphone, and the tin inside it may come from this place. But this is a really interesting story. It concerns all of us, but most of all, these people in Sumatra that Arnaud met. This is the report.
At first glance, you might mistake this landscape for the planet Mars. Riddled with craters and mud ponds, this is the island of Bangka, Indonesia. Here, about 30 men are digging at the bottom of a giant mine. They're picking away at these unstable walls looking for tin. In their eyes, it's a metal worth as much as gold. Every day, Sofian descends into his workplace, a hole 15 meters deep. For 7 years, he's spent 8 hours a day in stagnant water, unprotected from looming dangers such as mudslides.
We can't afford to use excavators, so we use simple pickaxes. It's more dangerous because there could be mudslides, but we try to be careful. I remember that one day, the wall suddenly collapsed and we had to get out quickly.
At the end of the day, sifting through the sand is a crucial step. For Sofian, it's like panning for gold. After several minutes, a black paste appears. This is cassiterite, the ore from which tin is extracted.
How much have you got in your bag?
About 12 kilos.
Sofian and his 2 partners hope to sell this amount for about 50 euros. Just east of Sumatra, Bangka was once an island paradise, but has been ravaged by the mining industry for decades. 80,000 tons of tin is extracted each year, accounting for a quarter of the world's production. Used in mobile phones and computers, Bangka is working to meet the demand from large phone and tech companies. In 20 years, Bangka has transformed into a gigantic surface mine. 3/4 of its landscape has been excavated. Alongside private companies, some 300,000 miners are working in illegal mines without any supervision or control from the authorities, including Sofian. He agreed to show us the house he built with the wages he earned from working in the mines.
I used to work as a truck driver. I was transporting fish. Everyone knows that you can make a lot of money in the mines, so I changed jobs. With 2 partners, we immediately found a good quantity of tin and my income increased. As a truck driver, I earned 200,000 rupiah a day. Today I can earn up to 5 times that.
These tin miners are mostly from the neighboring islands of Sumatra and Java. 13-year-old Ikran dropped out of school 2 years ago to dig at the bottom of a submerged mine. He works aboard a raft with his father in what could be a scene straight out of the movie Mad Max.
I was the one who decided to leave school. Nobody forced me. Since working at the mine, I've hardened myself. It's not that difficult to be a miner. But it's true, you can injure your hands or get sick.
At 13, Ikran works hard like an adult. He struggles to carry this bag filled to the brim. At 60 kilos, it's heavier than he is. The contents should fetch 300 euros, a fortune in Indonesia, representing what an average Indonesian makes in a month. The market is lucrative. In Bangka, hundreds of tin traders buy the ore from illegal miners. Alfonso is one of the few who agreed to meet with us. Each evening, he discreetly meets his customers in his living room, which he's made into a workshop.
The miners come directly to my house to weigh their tin. Then I set a purchase price, which depends on the weight and quality. What I'm looking at most is the percentage of tin in the ore. I also check that there are no other metals inside.
Alfonso uses cash to buy about 100 kilos of ore per day. He resells it to private smelters who transform it into tin ingot. It's then exported worldwide by a state-owned mining company, PT Timah. The trade of tin has depleted the supply on the island. The miners need new, more promising deposits. At sea, they find what they're looking for. Batu Belubong is a village located at the edge of the Java Sea, whose shores have been ravaged by mining. For kilometers, the water is polluted by mud pumped from great depths. In some places, the beaches are even covered with blocks of clay.
As you can see behind me, there's a lot of mining activity, with sometimes more than 1,000 rafts exploring the area. The ecological impact is visible. It is mud that is found at the bottom of the sea and which arrives directly on the beach. In 1 hour of drilling, these rafts can generate nearly 200 cubic meters of sedimentation, which then stagnates everywhere in the sea.
These makeshift rafts are scattered to the horizon. Made of bamboo and recycled material, each can fit 1 to 3 miners on board. Hakan spends 10 hours a day at sea with the din of engines in the background, burying a huge pipe 3 meters underground to pump sand. Each day it gathers up to 10 kilos of ore, a very good yield.
This area is extremely rich in tin. That's why we all come here. The large rafts are further offshore because they dig deeper.
Sedimentation is having a catastrophic impact on the Bangka ecosystem. Sand covers everything, including coral reefs that eventually die. The consequence is that the fish are forced to change their habitat and move further offshore. There has been a decrease in the population of fish on the island, especially near the mines.
Forced to cast their nets beyond the drilling areas, the impact on Bangka's 45,000 fishermen has been devastating. A fisherman for 32 years, Dharma feels the effects of the sea mines firsthand.
Before, the fishing was abundant. We caught squid right near the shore. But with the mines, it's more and more difficult to fish for squid and other species of fish that we no longer see.
3 months ago, Dharma expressed his anger with a group of other fishermen protesting outside the governor's palace, demanding the protection of the coastline and a stop to the mining.
Our income is down considerably. You see, since we've arrived, I haven't caught any fish. But this zone is supposed to be rich in mackerel. Under these conditions, how can I pay for my fuel and support my family?
Some fishermen have found a solution to their financial predicament. They've become miners themselves. Their boats are rigged with the necessary equipment, and on board, each crew has a diver, a miner whose job it is to pump sand from the sea floor, breathing through a tube attached to his mask. Abdul Rahman returns to the surface after a 2-hour dive. Each time he descends, his life is on the line.
We dig a hole in the seafloor which can reach between 1 and 5 meters deep. I remember one day there were 3 of us at the bottom of a hole sucking up the sand. The ground caved in and we were buried alive. I don't know how long we were there. I managed to get out, but one of my colleagues died that day.
Because of the danger, not many are willing to take the risk. After each dive, Abdul Rahman thanks God for keeping him alive. Aside from the makeshift rafts, there are professionally operated ships capable of drilling the largest deposits. We boarded the KIP-11, one of 53 boats owned by the public company PT Timah. In front of this steel jaw used to pierce the seabed is Captain Misianto. He says they're drilling 32 meters deep, hoping to extract 600 kilograms of tin ore.
To extract the tin, we use a drill head placed at the end of a rod, which grinds the seafloor. Once the materials have been crushed, a pump sucks up the material made of sand, water, and rocks and brings it to the deck.
After the extraction, tons of material is thrown back into the sea, creating a huge layer of mud on the surface. As we approach it, the company's press secretary asks us to stop filming. We ask the captain about the effects of the drilling on the environment. He is visibly embarrassed. Again, the press secretary steps in.
He cannot. I'm sorry. Because this is not your job to explain that. He just know to explain you about this operation, not impact for ecosystem.
PT Timah assures us that it's planning to invest 11 million euros this year to rehabilitate coral reefs and to plant new ones. Like here in Pulau Putri, a small island that was invaded by mining rafts and boats a few months ago. Ari Darmansya from the environmental NGO Kampala is working to defend these turquoise waters against the effects of mining.
We don't have the capacity to stop mining, but we are committed to preserving our environment. The first thing we did was replant the coral to show that we're in the middle of a rescue operation. The mines are devouring Bangka. The government must create protected natural areas. It must also create enough employment outside of mining, otherwise it will never stop. We know that we did not inherit this island. We're simply borrowing it, and we have to pass it on to the next generation.
The fight is far from over. 60% of the island's economy depends on the mining industry, but Bangka's resources are limited. Geological studies have found the island still has more than 1 million tons of tin, but at the current rate of extraction, the supply will run out in just 10 years.
A report by Arnaud Guiqueton and Guillaume Collange. Arnaud's still with us. Great report, amazing images, and it's very scary stuff to see as well. And it kind of leaves me wondering, what is the future for Bangka Island, this place which has been devastated by tin mining?
The mining industry is the biggest part of the island's economy, but other sectors also perform well, like the intensive farming of palm oil, rubber and pepper.
Avec des plantations de palmiers à huile, d'EVA ou encore de poivre.
The tourism sector has potential as well. We saw beautiful beaches, but they're under threat from the mines. We met a man called Ten Johannes, a hotel manager who's worried about the situation. Have a listen.
So we are now here in the beach. We can see the situation, the clean beach, the clean sand, and we see the water. And after that, we can see that there's a lot of ship over there. So what the ship over there is tin mining in the sea. So this worry us, because a lot my guests in our hotel complain to me because have a lot of destruction of the water is not good, and have we meant oil in the sea. These are very not good for the guest when he want to swimming in the water.
Arno, you could see the potential given the beach behind him, how beautiful it could look. But then the tin mining on the other side obviously tells a different story. Why does the government allow this illegal extraction of tin to happen?
Yeah, ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que la majorité
The majority of tin mines in Bangka are legal sites owned by both public and private companies who obtain plots of land from the government, which can be renewed every 5 years. PT Timur, for example, manages 500,000 hectares on land and sea, but there are illegal mines which manage to avoid inspection. They're usually on top of old legal mines, which were abandoned once the yield wasn't enough for the company. And they're also on private land, where the landowner allows it to happen as long as each miner gives them 10% of what they find. But there are inspections. When we were shooting, we actually saw an Indonesian Navy patrol when we were on a sort of boat factory. The moment the miners saw the military vessel, they stopped the drill. We went back to port, waited around an hour, and then went back to the same spot to continue drilling, without a care in the world. Mining is a godsend for the island. Whether legal or illegal, the industry boosts its economy and sustains tens of thousands of families.
And the thing is, it's serious companies that are using tin, and I'm wondering how can any company that has a proper business plan, business identity, is legal, is actually using this illegal tin? How does it happen?
The supply chains are very opaque. Since 2016, PT Timur is the only company in Indonesia which can export tin. And as you've seen in the report, it's sold through several different middlemen who play a crucial role. PT Timur is at the beginning of the chain and buys huge quantities of tin oxide, which is smelted without regard to whether it came from a legal or an illegal mine.
Qu'elles proviennent de mines légales ou illégales.
Arnaud Guiguiton, thank you very much indeed. The report by Arnaud Guiguiton and Guillaume Collange. You can see it again, of course, via our website, France24.com. Just search reporters, click, you'll enjoy it again. Remarkable stuff, remarkable expose. Arnaud, thank you very much indeed. And thank you for watching. Stay with us here on France 24.